This is beautiful tea. Whoa. Great tea. Best tea in the world. Best tea in the world. Best tea in the world. Okay. Waiting to see who comes on. One person on. Then we're good to go. There you go. My man Arnold is on. Listen. We're good. We're good. I fixed it. I realized what was wrong. I didn't say my prayers before the session started. So now I'm here. I'm going to say my prayers and we can kick the show off, you know. Yeah, so I'm grateful and I really love the fact that we're able to fix this. So I want to thank God for this moment. And I'm ready to bless you with my conversation. Whichever way it hits you, if it hits you left, if it's a hook, if it's a jab, if it's a knockout, whatever happens, just love it, enjoy it, get into it. Let's get going. You know, listen, we've had a turbulent week. We've had a week of so many mixed emotions. You know, people were sad, people were jubilant, people were really, really distraught about certain things that's going on in the world. But, you know, I think I've made my comments. I've made my comments. That's where I stand with that. I believe that, you know, we should really now start to go into high gear. Not as a race, but as humans, you know, because humanity is really what's being tested right now. And all kinds of different people around the world are talking about, you know, how do we convince each other that everything is going to be okay? The thing that really lacks in all the things that we do is trust. Trust is what breaks or makes people, you know, who they become. You know, a person who is, you know, completely a stranger to you, the minute they mistrust you, everything can just, you know, plummet into this abyss and it can cause all kinds of problems. So I think to reestablish trust, we can't command people into trusting us. We can, you know, earn the respect and the trust that we need to earn from people. Things are changing. I'm telling you, there's one thing I want to tell you. I always laugh and I sit back and I say, humanity is so vain sometimes. We are so vain sometimes. We try and explain why the soil holds the earth the way it does. Why the crust of the earth is the way it is. We try and explain all of that, and it's okay to explain it. But to try and take ownership of fully understanding where things get formed and how they get formed and how the oceans link to the seas and the rivers and the mountains in between and all of those things. Listen, man, those can only be the works of God. So don't get it twisted. You know, there's no man out there that's our ultimate power. Not one human being can claim to be, I am that it. No. You are just a small little minute part of the whole process. And every time the big man decides to swipe, boom, that's it, you're out. So you know, I want to encourage people to be hopeful. I want to encourage people to have courage and to really pray for courage, you know, to pray for understanding, for wisdom. And I want to encourage you to be faithful. Don't fear. There's nothing to fear. There's nothing to fear. There's everything to celebrate. There's everything to work hard for. And I'm telling you, you know, that every single person on earth, you know, you have a purpose. You have a purpose, you have a responsibility, and some of them come out, you know, camouflage to look something they're not. But every one of us has a purpose, and I'm excited about, you know, what we actually are building. There's an awakening in the wisdom, in the knowledge. There's also, I believe, there's an awakening of the spiritual world. The spiritual realm is up and well. You know, people are starting to understand the power of prayer. You don't mess with the power of prayer. You don't mess with the power of prayer. You do not mess with the power of a collective that prays together and they pray in faith. You don't mess with that. I don't care how powerful they are. So I want to encourage you that, this war is not lost. And it's fitting today that we're talking about losing. We're talking about losing. What is the power of losing? What is embedded in this thing that we call loss? So when I say to a friend of mine, I said, I'm obsessed with loss. He said, what's wrong with you, dude? Like, you keep coming up with these weird topics, and then they come out on the other side and it makes sense. And I said to my friend, I said, look, man, this is why I call it lose your mind. Lose your mind. Lose your mind. Lose your mind. Listen, if you don't, educate yourself, and if you don't top up on your wisdom by allowing yourself to experience more, to go to places that terrify you, to go and meet people that you would not normally speak to go left instead of right, to speak of things you would not normally speak of, to study things, to study people's beliefs and understanding, and to engage with contrast, you're going to be left behind, because we have a world that right now is in turmoil and people don't know where to look, left or right, or who to look up to. And I say to you in one of my teachings, I say, stop looking up to men. You cannot look up to men. You can look at them, you can emulate, you can copy them, but you cannot look up to men. You can only look up to God. So listen, losing. What do you call losing? And I want to talk about this in a very strong perspective of business. How do we perceive losing? Why is losing such an amazing concept? Now, there's opportunity in losing. There's leverage in losing. There's profit in losing. There are lessons in losing. And what else is in losing? You want to hear it? There are people who have made a profession of losing. They have made it their professional occupation, or they have made it an occupation to lose. So I'm going to tell you, there's a distinction between being a loser and losing. There's two different things. I want to touch on those things today. So what I want to bring up is a concept in business where I say, losing is an integral part of winning. The people who are accustomed to winning have understood that there's a correlation, there's a relationship between losing and winning. It's a major part of the process. If you don't like losing, you won't enjoy the winning. It's very, very, very difficult to, make somebody who hasn't grasped that concept understand the winners are consummate losers. Winners have made a bet that says, look, I'm going to lose as often as possible so I can actually understand the things that I have to do to get to my place and my desired position, and that's of being a champion. I want you to understand this, right? Professionals make their career out of understanding what's necessary and what's not necessary. Professionals make a career out of studying the status quo of things. They make a career of understanding the changes that need to be made. They also make a career of understanding where things could go wrong. I want you to understand, things could go wrong, what needs changing, what's the status quo, or how are they right now? That's what professionals do, right? And I want to take you there, right? So when you train as a pilot, like my friend told me, I was mentioning a story earlier. So we're in Dubai having dinner with a friend of mine, and she's a pilot, and she said we were trained to crash. And that was like a dang moment. It's like, whoa, we were trained to crash. One of the key lessons that they train pilots to understand is what happens when a plane is plummeting and is nose diving into the ocean. What do you do? That's a lesson right there. They train surgeons. What happens when when the bleeding doesn't stop and you're in the middle of a major operation, what do? They train them on those aspects. They train soldiers who are in the battlefield to understand, listen, what happens when you run out of ammo? What happens when you get captured? My friend, he sat me down, my friend Melvin, he said, man, he said, look, man, we are trained when we get captured. We simulate the process. He's a Marine guy. He's a veteran in the United States Marines. He is a highly decorated Marine. But he said some of the training they did, it was torturous. He said, we were trained when the enemy comes in and they grab you. And you're one of the people that wasn't grabbed. You're one of the people who was grabbed. There's a way to behave when they grab you. There's a way to behave when you don't get grabbed. And I was like, are you kidding? He said, man, we are trained to accept that things could go wrong. Therefore, we could be losing aspects of what we actually, trained to do. Lawyers are trained. They refer to cases that were lost by other lawyers, top lawyers. They pursued this case and it looked like a done deal and they lost. Why did they lose? So they referenced that. You see, the avoidance of failure is the invitation of failure. The avoidance of failure is the invitation of failure. You need to understand this. Lenny's back with his 100%. The avoidance of failure is the invitation of failure. So you need to understand that what people perceive as losing is perhaps what most people would perceive as it's just part of the process. There's a process to progress. There's a process to winning. There's a process to failing. There's a process to losing. And that's okay. Because an athlete, sports people get told, when you lose in the game, this is what you do. This is how you behave. This is the mindset. And after you've lost the game, this is the mindset. They are trained to learn to deal with how to celebrate or how to handle a win and how to handle a loss. Both offer lessons that are crucial to the sustenance of those people. So I want you to really understand that. And I want you to indulge loss. I want you to indulge the aspect of losing. And it's a really powerful thing. I'm obsessed with it. You see, you have to study your enemy. If your friend is winning, your enemy is losing, right? So watch this. So the enemy that threatens my friend who is winning is his name, is her name. My friend's called winning, and that's my friend. But there's another person on the other side that's my enemy that's called losing. So I have to study the tactics. I have to study the things that people do to lose in order to not do those things. So every game that you play has a do's and don'ts. Don't do this, do this. When you do this, you lose. When you do this, you win. But people who are masters, people who master chess, people who master golf, people who master some of these games that require high, concentration, intensity of focus. These people study failure. They study losing as much as they study winning. It's really important. There are opportunities that are born out of losing. I watch things and I say, who's losing, who's winning? There are opportunities. Somebody's complaining about the connection, but I'm good. Like I can see with clarity. Are you good? If the connection is good, put 100. If it's not good, put a 1. I don't know, but I can't help you with that, So hopefully the recording comes out better, right? So really what I want to teach you is this. Watch this. This is really important. The primary function of a business is to provide a solution. Businesses are built on the concept of their solution providers. That's why people go into business. Okay, now, a solution addresses a problem. A solution addresses a problem. Watch this, yeah? Watch this, yeah? A problem is usually what people try and avoid in order not to announce, I have lost. I've lost money. I've lost a friendship. I've lost a business. I have lost my insurance. I have lost my car. I've lost this. So people don't want to lose. So what do? So watch. Insurance companies are there to help you after you've lost. That's the concept of the business. The whole education system, especially vocational training, is geared towards teaching you how not to fail in your business, but instead succeed. So therefore, the mitigation of loss is a training in its own. You have got to learn it. You have got to master it if you want to master success. When you're going into a fight, and I've done a little bit of training in the gym, I've done boxing a little bit, amateur level, but let me tell you, they teach you to study the opponent. So they say to you, if this guy's a southpaw, or this guy is an orthodox fighter. I was going to say northpaw. He's an orthodox fighter. So you need to, if he's orthodox, you fight him different, because he presents different problems that could make you lose the fight. So what you do is your coach will say to you, make sure you stay on your feet and, keep away from the canvas, from the ropes rather, and continue to fight in the middle of the ring. Now, different fights, different things. Some fighters say, stay as close to the ropes as possible. This guy likes to move, so he wants to use the entire ring. We're going to wear him out. Okay, so that's a strategy that you take up in the fight. So I want you to understand this. Businesses are formed to solve problems. Lawyers are formed because people do not want to lose. So when you're terrified about losing your property, you assign it to a lawyer. I do not want to lose. Therefore, legal firms are actually there to protect people from losing their lives, losing their properties, losing their relationships, losing, people have, they've gone through a breakup and they want to share stuff. You don't want to lose out. You want to, equally share the stuff. That's what they do. They're dealing with losses. That's the job. Somebody has lost their health. Guess where they go? They go to a medical person. They've lost their health, so they have to go and regain their health. They should come to me. I do nutrition. So you understand the concept of businesses are born out of the fear of loss. Please understand this. Understand the story of a man who arrived and said, nobody wears shoes in Africa. He got back on the plane, went back to wherever he came from. And another man came on the plane, same company. They sent him. He said, go and check it out again. He came and said, send all the shoes you can, as many shoes as possible. One saw loss. The other one saw opportunity in the fact that people didn't have shoes. You've got to understand this power in contrast. Contrast is where opportunities form. When you see things that are not working or right, you go, I'll fix that. A friend of mine, I remember, we're not very close, but I know the guy. He was a president of a company I work with. I wouldn't say he's my friend. I would say he's somebody I know. He knows me or whatever. So he went to a place to fix his hair. He lost his hair. He was going bald. So he went, said, look, I want to have my hair implants put in. And I want a really good job. I want it to look as good as possible. This guy is a wealthy guy. He's Malta. I think he should be a billionaire now. But he was worth hundreds of millions of dollars at the time I knew him. So anyways, they did his hair and he didn't like it. He said, I don't like the way they did it. So he went back. He said, there must be a lot of people like me that come to these places. I have lots of money and can do whatever we want, but we're not getting a fair service. So he went and said to the guy, look, who owns this establishment? They said, this guy, They say, look, how is it performing? They say, it's really, really doing well. We're happy. We got lots of clients. I say, oh, okay, great. Because I was one of your clients that came here. Oh, yeah, we remember you. He said, well, I'm going to buy this place and make it better and fix it. They laughed. The lady at the reception said, excuse me, sir, we're not selling the place. He said, no, you're going to sell it to me because I'm going to buy it and make it better. He saw an opportunity to go in and provide a better service. And he forced her to call the owner. The owner said, look, man, I don't know who you are, but we're not selling. He said, no, you're selling because I'm the one who's asking, I'm buying, and just name your price and that's it. And the only reason he bought it is because he didn't like the way they fixed his hair. So he saw an opportunity. In losing the desired position he wanted, which is I want my hair to look as natural as possible, he saw an opportunity to invest and buy a business, which he bought. The rest is history. It went on to become a really incredible business for this person. I don't know how it's performing now, but that's a very long time ago. So I want to encourage you to understand that average people see losses and business people see opportunities to provide a solution. You have got to be solution focused, not problem focused. Focus on understanding if the next neighbor is losing customers and the shop was heaving with customers the first time you went there and they're losing customers, that's an opportunity to put a shop next door that does the same thing but better. There's opportunity in loss. If you don't like it and you can do it better, this is a really good time for you to actually go in and stake your claim. So that's really, really important. So we provide opportunities because potential loss is actually a gateway to opening up, doors to show you this is how you could do it. This is how it should be done. So I want to encourage you to not shy away from, when people say losing. The other thing is in business, any business that's very successful has actually had its fair share of losing. The best strikers in the world in football have the biggest misses in football. It's a numbers game. The biggest players, because here's the thing, and this is why I love, when people talk about loss, I go, this is fantastic. Watch this, yeah? When you start a business, you start at zero. So anything that happens after that is a bonus. You're already winning. So if I gave you $1 and you turned it into $50, what happens a lot of the times, because we have this twisted mindset of saying, well, I only have 50. You start to degrade, or you start to demean, or you start to disrespect the work that went in to make $1 $50. And it could be just you. You're the primary servant in that project. And you're doing it, but you're saying, I only have 50. Well, 50 is not enough to buy your dream house, but listen, you know how to take a journey from $1 to 50. The next thing you then have to learn to do is say, how do I go from 50 to 100? How do I go from 100 to 1,000? How do I go? And you need to have an understanding that there is no losses, because let me tell you, if your expectation was $500 from $1 and you got 50, you won anyway. But understand the gap between the 1 to the 50, what made it 50? Instead of focusing on that, people say, well, I've lost an opportunity. I really wanted to make 500 from this deal, but I only made 50. So we focus on the losses. So we make the loss, rather than make it a lesson and understand the journey that led you to that process, you make it a point of lamentation. You start saying, oh man, I wish, it didn't happen for me, or whatever. So I want to encourage you to understand that, in adversities, there's opportunities. In every adversity, there's opportunities. I really want you to understand that part. I really want you to understand that part. So the value of loss is usually determined by the person involved in the project. Some people use loss as a reminder that they need to perform better. They need better skills. Some people use loss as a reminder of the potential in the project. Right? Some people use loss to elevate themselves, to say, you know what, I want to do something that way. Okay? So it's really important that you understand that there's a process in all of this. And it's important that you focus on the value in the loss rather than the loss in the loss, if that makes sense. There's always a lesson. There's always a repositioning. There's always a reminder. There are lots of benefits in understanding loss. And if it's not your loss, sometimes it serves as an example. As you watch other people lose, you go, the alternative could work. Or a variation, a slight variation of what they're doing could work. So you need to study loss. You need to study why things go sideways or why they go the way you didn't expect. That's really, really, really important. Now, this leads me to the next subject. There's a difference between a loser and losing. Now I'm going to get a little bit into this now. So what is the difference between being a loser and losing? Losing is an integral part of building anything substantial. There's losses in everything. There's losses in everything. And I love it. I love it because when I feel like I've lost something, I pick up the lesson, I pick up the reminder, I pick up the understanding of where I'm at, where am I falling short, or whatever. That's my GPS. Because when you win all the time, if you win all the time, you start forgetting what got you there. That thing that builds you to become as strong as you are is resistance. Resistance is littered with losses. So show me a company that's really big. Like some people don't understand. When you hear the McDonald's, this billion-dollar, multi-billion-dollar operation around the world, sells more hamburgers than, anything in the world, right? Listen, when people say McDonald's is making losses, they go, come on, man, like why? So some people look at that. If you're a guy who's astute in investment, you understand the stock market, or you understand how money markets work or whatever, you start to research, you start to dig into how do I actually, benefit, how do I leverage this slump in sales for McDonald's? Do some research on that. When companies are losing profits, some clever investors find a way to leverage that and they actually buy shares in those companies. You need to open your eyes a little bit and stop, worrying, because a lot of people say, I buy companies and, I build them up and I make a profit from them and I sell them off. If you're looking to buy companies, you're not looking to buy companies that are making big profits. You're looking for companies that are run, in an inefficient way, that have the potential to make a lot of profit. So they're making losses. So what happens is, you buy those companies, the value is good, your price, your purchase price is good, but the potential is huge. So you're leveraging the fact that they don't know how to efficiently run their business. You have a better way, a better system of running that business. You acquire the business, you put in structures and systems that will make the business better, and it starts to perform. So you actually leverage the losses of the other people, the incompetencies of the other people, or the lack of knowledge from the other people. So business people understand. Losers have a different perception on losses. Losers are very, very intimate with that concept of losing. And you hear them talk about, I don't want to be a loser. The minute you confess you do not want to be a loser, you are probably well on your way to being one. What is a description of a loser in my world, in my understanding? And again, I'm not a dictionary. I'm just, this is my perception. When I say somebody could be looked at to be a loser, is somebody who practices the art of defeatism. They're always defeated. So when you do something, go, it won't work. Like, we're going to lose money. Let's go talk to those people. No, I don't want to talk to those people. Man, we're going to lose time anyway. Talking to those people, asking for directions. No, we're going to lose time. Everything is about fear of loss. They are always afraid to lose. Why don't you go do that interview? I know I'm not going to get the job. You know, they actually give up before they try. So you need to understand this concept that to be a loser is to actually practice the art of losing constantly. Everything in your life is littered with the lamentation of, I might lose, I'm going to lose, we're losing. There are people even, on TV, you watch a game of football with them, they're going, I know we're going to lose, I know we're going to lose, I know we're going to lose. So they're fascinated with losing. Losers also do not recognize opportunities in losses. When somebody loses something, or they don't know where to go. Like sometimes, somebody's lost. And this is where I want you to understand. So if you're in an area where people are always getting lost, every time, people come and stop at your shop, hey, how do hey man, I don't know, So what you do, you go, look, it's very simple. I have somebody here who can actually direct you. But he's a cab driver, so he will drive behind you or whatever. You just pay him or whatever, or have a guy with the bike or whatever. They'll make a business out of it. And I'm talking Africa, that's how we do things. We're always looking for an angle. Where is the opportunity in this loss? So losers don't recognize that. Losers don't recognize that, when a deal goes bad, you can actually go and buy that deal and actually make it better and actually sell it on for more money. They don't recognize that. They just, indulge losses. They also talk about losing all the time. They say, my uncle lost this. Do you know that guy opened a business and he lost the business? That guy is losing his house. They're always fishing for stuff that has to do with losses. That's having what we call a loser's mentality. So you're always pronouncing loss and proclaiming loss on everything. Unfortunately, they don't leverage loss. They're being consumed, they're drowning in loss. So they're part of the problem rather than using loss as part of the solution. For people who are successful entrepreneurs, when they see loss, they go, here's an opportunity to build a business that's going to solve this problem. For losers, when they see a problem, they go, I told you. They're problem staters. They're not solution providers. So you need to understand that sometimes in business or whatever you're pursuing, even if it's education, if you hang out with a bunch of people who are always talking about losses and they're building cases for losses or whatever, you end up becoming one of them and people start saying those guys are losers. They are also drainers. Every time you talk to them, they go, but what's the point? Why are we even trying? Because nobody's going to buy anything. And you're going, what's wrong with you, man? They're defeated before they start. So I need you to make a distinction. When I say leverage loss, I'm not talking about being obsessed and going around saying to people, everything is going to fall apart. And I want to teach you or share something that I do. You cannot worry your way to success. You have to stop worrying about losses. When you lose money, it's okay. There is absolutely no one that's made a lot of money that has not lost money. When you get scammed, it's okay. When somebody, when you lose your credit card or you lose your card or you lose your wallet and there's $50 or $500, it's okay. You now know how to protect yourself next time. You also know, hold on a second. So you mean there are people who steal people's purses in this area? You go, yeah. Okay, so why don't I, come up with a solution? Or maybe you make a bag that's concealed and you start saying pickpocketers are in the area. Why don't you buy a bag from me? I'll show you how not to be pickpocketed. There is someone who's leaning on the side of solution provision rather than problem stating. But the losers will stand in the corner hey Michael, the losers will stand in the corner and they will start saying, hey, they will steal your money. Put your bag away. They're going to steal your phone. They worry you all the time. So they are teachers of loss. They're like, man, loss. But the smart guy says, I could form a security company around the corner that ferries people across. Guys, this area is quite dangerous. We have a guy here who can walk you across. Nobody's going to touch you. You just pay them $1 and they just walk you across and you can just go back to your car. Fantastic. So, 100 trips later, the guy's made $100 a day. And you go, this guy's, he must be stealing phones. Why is he making money all of a sudden? He saw an opportunity in loss. People were losing their property. He decided to make it his business, to provide a solution so people would stop losing their properties. I think now you're getting it. Are you learning from this? Put 100 if you're learning. If you're enjoying it, put 100. Just shout me out, man. Come on. So I want you to understand that there's value in observing your losses, other people's losses, losses in communities, losses that are going on in the world. People have lost their focus. People have lost their focus. People have lost their focus. Everybody's worrying about, this big animal that's going to come and consume the world. But the people who are looking to provide solutions are looking for ways to relieve people from this pain, this burden of, procrastination or fear and terror. They're going, no, I'm going to help you. Don't worry about that. And you go, what do you mean? You go, no, I'm the guy who's going to help you. So you need to understand that. And this topic would not make any sense if we didn't talk about the loss of our self-concept. We have lost an understanding of who we are. And we have acquired an understanding that's forged or formed by other people's opinions. Now, that's a loss you cannot afford to indulge. The loss of identity, the loss of self-realization, the loss of understanding that you're not the things you do, you're not the places you dwell, you're not the people you speak to, you're nobody's subject. That's a loss you cannot afford to mess with. And for me, that loss serves to do one thing only. It serves as a reminder. I mentioned it earlier. Some of your losses are to remind you. When somebody strips you of your dignity, it shows you that you've hit rock bottom. It shows you that you cannot allow that enough is enough. You are sick and tired of being sick and tired. Enough is enough. You go, this is it. This is it. We have lost our self-actualization. We have been hoodwinked and dragged and drowned into this world of fear and frustration and propaganda. There's so much out there that can consume your mind to think that, oh my gosh, that's it. I really want to encourage you, all of those who are listening, those who will watch after this recording, is don't let anybody fool you. There's so much more in you. And you may have lost your confidence. That's okay. You lost your dignity. That's okay. You lost a relationship. That's okay. You lost a friendship. That's okay. You lost a job. That's okay. It's fine. You lost money. That's okay. You lost your property. That's okay. You see, the power that you hold in you, you will realize and acknowledge it after that knockdown. And if you don't have the ability to dust yourself off and get up, if you don't know how to get up, you're in trouble. So I want to really encourage you to look at your losses as opportunities to remind you reinforce you, re-educate you, to reposition you, to open up a door for you. They couldn't deliver it, so I came in and I delivered it and I got the position. Somebody got fired and they were really close to you. And guess what? The only way you could help them pay their mortgage is go take their job. Come on. There is opportunities in loss. We have got to move away from lamentation and we have to start focusing ourselves on being calculated in understanding, is this a lost opportunity or is this a loss that could be an opportunity? There's a difference. Is this a lost opportunity or is this a loss that could be my opportunity? When Les Brown was fired from his job, that's when he rose to being the great man he is. Not without adversities, not without challenges, not without brokenness, not without brokenness. When Oprah was fired from her job and she ended up being the only colored girl on television and people were saying, are you kidding me? Is this really happening in the United States of America? It came from a loss. When Tony Robbins was begging for money in the bank, saying, I need a loan, they said, why? He said, there's a man out there. He's about to do a concert. He's about to do a show. I want to go listen to him. The woman said, what do you need the money for? He said, I need the money so I can go and pay entrance to that man speaking. They said, what is he doing? Is he singing? What is it, a show? He said, no, he's a motivational speaker. The woman said, you've lost your mind. You want to pay what? $1,000 to listen to a man speak? He said, yes, ma'am. She said, no, go away. Don't come back. Nobody's going to loan you that money. He came back every day until the woman said, you know, there is nothing I can do. Listen, man, I'm going to take the loan from the bank and give it to you. You go and actually pay the money. Listen to him. If you ever become successful, maybe you'll come and help me pay back the loan. But I'm sick and tired of seeing you. He wasn't tired of losing the opportunity to borrow money from the bank. Guess what? He went and watched this man speak. I think it was Jim Rohn. And he watched Jim Rohn speak and he said, you know, how much does this guy get paid? He asked somebody next to him. They said, this amount. He said, I definitely can do this. I will do whatever he does, whatever he has learned to get to this position, I'm going to do in order to be paid that kind of money. And you can imagine the thank you that Tony Robbins gave that lady in the bank eventually. Cristiano Ronaldo going hungry after training. People would have thought that's a lost opportunity. He was crying, being interviewed, saying, I need to find this lady who used to work in this little restaurant. They used to give us food over the window after training because they didn't have food. I don't know whether they didn't have food at home, but they were hungry. And he found her. I don't know what thank you he gave her. You see, everything that we know to be precious is born out of a loss. You have to lose energy to gain more energy. What you expend expands. What you expend expands. If you expend energy in the gym, you gain more energy. If you sleep and you don't use your energy, guess what? So you got to spend it in order for it to be multiplied. People are scared of losing money. They go, I don't want to invest money because I might lose it. If you don't invest it, you lose it anyway. Because stagnant money, as we mentioned last week or a week before, is dead money. Money is supposed to be leveraged. It's a currency. You're supposed to leverage it. That's why it's called a currency. A currency moves. It has energy. So because you're so petrified of loss, you don't invest. So lots of people have lost their lives in this process. Lots of people have lost their lives in the riots in the United States. Lots of people have lost their lives doing things to protect their families, from COVID-19. There's losses everywhere. And I'm not suggesting at all that we seek opportunity to take advantage of those people's sorrow. That's not what I'm suggesting. I'm suggesting that look very carefully, whatever is going on in the world, can you become part of the solution rather than becoming part of actually accentuating the problem? Being an entrepreneur, being a thought leader, which is what we're training you guys to do on this channel, being a change maker means that you have to get uncomfortable. And part of being uncomfortable means that you have to understand the power of loss. Not the fear of loss, the power of loss. Lose it so you can gain more. Lose it so you can gain perspective. Lose it so you can remember where you came from. Lose it so you can realign, you can reposition yourself, you can leverage. But if you hold on to it, that's it. And I have a video that I produced a while ago, and I'm going to finish on this. And I was talking about, you know, when you're on a plane and the pilot says, look, you know, this plane is going down, guys. We need to jump. And everybody's jumped, and you're the last person on the train, and the crew is saying, come on, man, you got to go. And you have your parachute, and you know, you're supposed to jump out of the plane, and you're holding on for dear life, and you go, man, you know, I can't, I don't want to go, I'm so scared. Look, all this stuff, and you see stuff coming at you, and there's wind blowing like you've never seen before, and you're so scared, and you're going, no. If you hold on to that plane, if you hold on to those handles, you stand a chance of losing the most precious thing, which is your life. But if you let go, you jump into this beautiful, unknown world that you didn't know before. You see, folks, let me tell you something. You have to sometimes look at your circumstances and say, what do I want to lose? I run a business. In fact, you know, most of my businesses have people involved in them. And one of the things I do every month, I ask myself, who am I willing to lose and who am I willing to hold on to? And I recycle people all the time, not because I don't value people, because some things in life you will gain after losing them. So you're going to lose some connections, some people. You have to lose a certain mindset. You have to lose a certain belief. You have to lose a certain home and move into another home. You have to lose a certain job. You have to let go of stuff. You have to be focused and 100% committed and intentional about losing some things in your life in order to replace something. You have got to move something out of place. You cannot replace something if everything is still, you know, locked in the same place. So you need to get into this mindset of what do I need to lose in order to gain what I need to gain. Sometimes it's a little weight on your body. I need to lose weight. That's positive, isn't it? Sometimes it's a clingy friend that's really toxic. I need to lose this group. Sometimes it's a mindset, lose your mind, that you've held on for so long. Lose that. Sometimes you need to lose your bed. Get out of your house. Get out of your house and mom and dad, I'm going. I don't know where I'm going, but I'm going, dad. Where you go? I don't know, but I'm out of here. I can't stay in here. I can't stay. I gotta lose this house. I have to lose the bed in my room. Because I'm 30 years old, I'm 25 years, I need to lose this so I can gain my freedom. Sometimes you have to lose it all to gain it all. Sometimes you have to lose a belief that was ingrained in you when you're a little baby. And they told you that money was evil. Lose that. I'm fascinated by loss. I'm fascinated by losing things that actually inhibit you and make you end up a loser. Winners have mastered the ability to select through the stuff, to go through the chaff and go, you know, I need to get rid of this, get rid of that, get rid of that. When you become an athlete, they said, you can't eat that, you can't eat that, you can't eat that. Focus on eating that. And you go, okay, sir, yes, ma'am. You liked chicken, you liked your beef, you're a big guy, you're a wrestler, and they're saying you have to become a vegetarian. You go, come on, man. They say, yeah, if you want to be a champion, you have to lose your addiction to meat and focus on vegetables. Okay. Now, to gain the world championship, you have got to lose those things that held you back. You have to lose the cigarette. You have to lose the alcohol. You have to lose those propensities you had. The wilding out, that lifestyle that you had, you have to lose that. You have to lose the immaturity. You have to lose this thing we're hardwired to our gadgets, you know. You're fascinated by, you know, all these things. You have to lose this idea, this concept of worshiping people because they're wearing something or they're driving something or they speak in a certain way. Do not worship them. Work with them. You need to lose all of that. You need to lose this fear of loss. I am so scared of losing. Come on, what are you scared of? What could happen to you? They said no. Okay. What happens now? I'm going to go find another one. You see, if you want to really understand that there's so much power in loss, play the numbers. You will never, ever, ever see a ratio of I did 0 contacts to customers, I sold 6. It's a 0 to 6 ratio. I've never seen it. I've never seen a 0 to 1 ratio. It doesn't exist. You have to speak to somebody and then somebody will say yes or no. So you may have a 1-in-1 ratio. You spoke to 1, you sold to 1. But very often, more often than not, watch this, the ratio is usually I spoke to 10 clients, or prospects rather, 1 bought. Usually 9 don't buy, 1 buys. So the people who are successful in sales, and sales is universal, it's in every business we do, they understand that they have to go through 9 to arrive at the 10th one. That's the concept. So they're not bothered about the 9. They go, whichever version of no. Oh my God, you're such a lovely person. I'm so sorry. Maybe next time. It's a no. Oh man, I wish you came last week. It's a no. Oh man, you know what? Give me a month. I'll come back to you. I might buy this. It's a no. It's a really nice suit, but I wish you had them in blue. We don't have them in blue. It's a no. I'm not interested. No. It's a no. Hi, how you doing? Go away. He said, no. I'm trying to sell this stuff. The guy's like, I'm trying to sell this. Listen, don't come back here. That's a no. They sit in the same bracket. At the end of the day, it leads me to my 9th one. I am not passionate or emotional or sensitive about the 9. They're just my teachers. It's a lesson because I get paid regardless. So I get my last one out of 10. They get to buy. I make $1,000. I've made $100 on each one of those. That's how I look at it. So I understand that losing is an integral part of winning. That being a loser is a mindset. Being a person who is conscious, who understands the power in losing, that makes you a winner because you understand the concept that makes winners. Winners lose, they get injured, they fall off, they lose their attitude, they lose their momentum, and they keep coming back and they keep coming back. So don't worry about what you may not be gaining right now. Don't worry about what's not happening right now. Don't think you're unique because something is happening and you're not getting the results that you need to get. That's not unique. That's normal. Failure is normal. If you don't want failure, then don't even have a courtship with success. Forget it. Just go home and hang up your gloves. Successful people know that losing is part of the game. So fear not. So, keep safe. And I really have enjoyed talking to you, and I hope you've loved the concept of losing. And I truly believe that this is why I formed Lose Your Mind. Lose your mind, cleanse yourself, go home and look at some of the things that you believe, record yourself and listen to some of the language that you use on a daily basis, some of the information that you use to instruct your brain every day. Listen to it. When you record yourself and you listen to yourself speak, you'll be amazed how consistent certain things are in your speech. And those things that are consistent, they're actually they're very evident in your life. They're very, very evident in your life. And you have to understand that. So when you listen to yourself, you say, I need to lose this part. I need to stop saying basically. I need to stop saying, I don't know, maybe I can try. I need to stop using the word try. I need to say, I'm going to give it 100%. It's little changes like that that would lead you to a corner where you go, why am I always ending up here? Because you haven't lost the things that make you a loser. When you lose the things that make you a loser, you cease to become a loser. You become a conscious person about what losing means and the opportunities and the power and the value in losing. Thank you very much. God bless you. Share this with as many friends as you want to, and stay safe. And for the guys who are watching in the diaspora, our African brothers and sisters, come home. Come home, man. Come home. Come home. Come and, plow your business here. Let's change the world from here. It's changed from here, from inside out. We need to stop chanting. We need to stop, we need more brains than banners. We need more brains than banners. We need a collective. We need to gather our resources. We need, come home, come home. Stop all this stuff. You've been chanting, you've been united in your cries, but you've been divided in your approach. You've been talking about, let's do this, we need to do this, they need to do this. You cannot demand for people to respect you. You have got to command respect, not demand it. And you command respect by effecting change in your life. I left Europe to come to Africa, and I'm telling you right now, the things you can do in Africa, you cannot do in any other continent in the world. You are a smart guy, smart lady. You have got some savings. You have got something you call a home. Sell the home. Come home. Sell what you call, that house that you call a home, sell it. Come, bring your money to Africa, and let's help you build something from scratch. I'm telling you, if we build Africa from within, we become a powerful continent. And I'm talking to all Africans, whatever color, creed you are, it doesn't really matter. If you want to start breathing again, come to Africa. Here we're breathing. Come home. Come home. That's it. Good night.